Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some breaking weather news coming out of Central Florida, where strong storms and tornado warnings shook up the afternoon. If you're just tuning in, here's what happened. Multiple tornado warnings were issued in Flagler County, forcing local schools to go into shelter-in-place mode. Families across the region got text alerts, phone calls, and text messages, and emails from the school district telling them that dismissal might be delayed. Thankfully, those tornado warnings have since expired, but the storm threat isn't completely over yet. Meteorologists are tracking more rounds of heavy rain, gusty winds, and possibly more severe conditions through the evening hours. So stick with me, because we're going to break down what happened, why schools took action, what these warnings really mean, and what you should do if you ever find yourself in a similar situation. Let's start with the situation at the schools. In Flagler County, the school district made the call to keep students and staff sheltered in place as the tornado warnings were issued. That means classrooms turned into safe zones, away from windows and large open spaces. For parents waiting to pick up their kids, this understandably caused delays, but safety comes first when warnings are active. Officials said families were immediately notified, and schools remained calm as staff followed emergency protocols. By the time the warnings expired, no damage had been reported at the schools, and students remained safe. This is a perfect example of why shelter-in-place drills are practiced regularly. So when the real thing happens, everyone knows what to do. It's a reminder that these decisions aren't made lightly. They're made to protect lives. Let's talk about those tornado warnings. For Flagler County, there were actually back-to-back alerts. The first one was issued until 3 p.m., and then another was issued shortly after, lasting until 4 p.m. Both have since expired. A tornado warning means that a tornado has either been spotted by trained weather observers or indicated on radar. This isn't just a maybe, it's a take action now kind of alert. During these warnings, residents are urged to move to an interior room, basement if available, or any safe space away from windows. The National Weather Service issues these alerts after carefully monitoring Doppler radar, which can pick up rotation inside a storm. That rotation is the first clue that a tornado could form or may already be on the ground. The timing of these storms couldn't have been trickier. We're talking about dismissal hours for schools, when buses are usually lining up, parents are on their way to campuses, and kids are heading home. That's why the shelter-in-place was so critical. Imagine hundreds of students outside just as a tornado warning is issued. That could have been dangerous. By keeping everyone inside, school officials avoided unnecessary risks. Parents were told to wait, and though some might have felt anxious, the important thing to remember is that minutes matter in severe weather. Holding dismissal, even for a short time, may have prevented exposure to strong winds, hail, or flying debris. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the broader weather picture. Central Florida is no stranger to afternoon storms, especially during the late summer months when heat and humidity fuel daily thunderstorm activity. But on days like this, the atmosphere has just the right ingredients for severe weather: unstable air, plenty of moisture, and wind shear, meaning winds blowing in different directions at different levels of the atmosphere. That combination can lead to rotating storms called supercells, which are capable of producing tornadoes. So while a normal storm might just bring heavy rain and thunder, a severe setup can escalate quickly, as we saw in Flagler County. In addition to tornado warnings, other alerts were in effect. For example, a flood advisory was posted for Brevard County until 5 p.m. This shows just how widespread and complex the weather situation was across Central Florida. Heavy downpours can overwhelm drainage systems, leading to ponding on roads, flash flooding in low-lying areas, and dangerous driving conditions. So even if you're not directly in a tornado warning, you still have to be cautious. Remember, the number one cause of weather-related deaths in the United States isn't tornadoes, It's flooding. That's why meteorologists and emergency managers urge people to never drive through flooded roads, because even a few inches of moving water can sweep away a car. The role of technology in today's storm response is worth noting. Families in Flagler County got updates directly from the school district via text messages, phone calls, and emails. This rapid communication helps cut through confusion and keeps everyone on the same page. On top of that, smartphone alerts from the National Weather Service automatically push tornado warnings to your device, buzzing loudly even if your phone is on silent. These tools save lives. Just 20 years ago, people often relied solely on TV or radio to get updates. But now, critical alerts can reach you wherever you are. Of course, meteorologists on local TV stations like WESH 2 also play a huge role in explaining what's happening in real time. Speaking of meteorologists, the WESH 2 First Warning Weather Team has been busy tracking every detail of today's storms. Their forecasts warned of the potential for severe weather, and when the tornado warnings were issued, they went wall-to-wall on air and online to make sure viewers knew what to do. Names like Tony Manalfi, Eric Burris, Kellyanne Klass, Marquise Mehta, and Cam Tran are trusted voices in Central Florida. Viewers rely on them, not just for radar images, but for context, where the storm is moving, who's in the path, and how serious the threat is. This kind of local expertise is crucial in weather emergencies, especially when conditions can change from calm to dangerous in minutes. Now let's break down what impact weather means, because you might have seen that term used in coverage. Impact weather doesn't necessarily mean life-threatening conditions, but it does suggest that weather could be disruptive or hazardous to your daily routine. That might include heavy rain slowing down traffic, gusty winds knocking over tree branches, or lightning causing delays at sporting events. In today's case, the impact was significant for schools, families, and commuters. When meteorologists use that phrase, it's their way of saying, hey, this may not be catastrophic, but it's still something you need to plan around. It's about raising awareness before things get worse. One of the most important lessons from today's events is the value of preparation. When schools practice severe weather drills, when families know where to shelter, and when communities take warnings seriously, the chances of injuries or fatalities drop dramatically. Think of it this way. A tornado warning is like a smoke alarm. It doesn't guarantee disaster, but it tells you to act immediately because conditions are dangerous. People who respond quickly are usually the ones who stay safe. That's why meteorologists often say, don't wait until you see it. Trust the warning. By the time you actually spot a tornado, it may be too late to reach shelter. Of course, with storms like this, questions always come up about the aftermath. So far, reports indicate that Flagler County avoided major damage from these warnings. That's the best-case scenario. Sometimes, tornado warnings expire without a tornado ever touching down. And that's a good thing. It means the system worked. The radar detected rotation, officials issued the warning, people sheltered, and the threat passed without harm. Some might call that a false alarm, but experts see it as a success. The goal of the warning system is not to predict every tornado perfectly. It's to keep people safe whenever there's a credible threat. Meanwhile, more storms are expected through 8 p.m., which means the day isn't over for Central Florida. As the atmosphere stays unstable, additional rounds of heavy rain, lightning, and strong winds could develop. That's why staying weather-aware is so important. It's not just about one tornado warning. It's about the ongoing conditions that can shift quickly. Evening commuters, families heading to after-school activities, and anyone working outdoors need to keep an eye on the sky and have a plan in case another alert is issued. Safety during severe weather is all about staying